More action in Calgard Gym as Trinity University is getting prepared to take on the University of Dallas. Last time out for the Tigers, a very convincing win over Austin College, 92-50. While for UD, similar to their men, went to Kerrville and lost to Schreiner by a score of 68-40. Maybe a bit of a wake-up call for this young team. I am Reed Rosales, joined this time by Caleb Reed. And Caleb, we are certainly going to get an interesting view of a very young Dallas squad tonight.
A very young Dallas squad, but also a very good one. Both of these teams tied at 7 wins apiece. Of course, Dallas does have a couple of losses to their name as well. 7-4 for them, as y'all saw during the pregame. And so this is going to be a matchup of two really, really good teams here in front of us today in Calgard.
UD wins the tip-off, and we are underway. Moving quick, the Tiger press already in effect. Rawls passing it down to Gillespie. Jordan Gillespie, he makes the way up the three-point arc. Now working her way down, Caroline Croft. The three-point attempt will not fall. First shot of the game for Taylor Rawls will break off the rim. And now Maggie Robbins and the Tiger offense will start their work. Josie Napoli, spin move in the paint. Tries to work it out, maybe take it herself. Assesses her options, gets it to Jamie Reedy. Reedy does a spin move of her own. Napoli with an open three. That one won't fall. So UD working it fast down. Maggie Robbins only one that could contend but doesn't. So UD with an early lead as Maria DeSenta gets the first bucket of the game.
Great job there on the breakaway by Dallas, just able to get that ball. Nobody really around. But a good look there by Josie Napoli, just unable to get it in. Good vision there as well to put it up, as that is going to be Maggie Robbins who gets the first points for the Tigers and ties this game up at 2-all.
UD trying to respond. Game tied right now, and with a Tiger team that is the highest scoring team in the nation in terms of points per game. They certainly have to keep up. Driving it right down the middle is Natalie Anderson. Loses it near the end, thanks to the crew, so it will remain a Tiger ball with Napoli to make the inbounds pass. Josie Napoli throws it up for Maggie Robbins, the conductor at work again. Tries to take it in herself, gets it to Napoli. Napoli thought about a three, instead drives it in, puts it up, and we'll get an and one. A good play by Josie Napoli with a chance for some change as well.
Fantastic job there going up by Josie, as we're going to get the replay here. Went up, and a great job there. That was number, I believe that was 50. Imani Harden who got whistled for that one.
And one doesn't go, but a rebound for the Tigers. Maggie Robbins tried to get the pass to Reedy, but it was intercepted by Maria DeSenta. DeSenta having to deal with the Tiger press, gets pickpocketed by Jamie Reedy. Natalie Anderson loses the ball, but it will remain Tiger ball. And Caroline Croft, very emphatic that the Tigers had the last touch. Also, Maggie Robbins putting it up for Elaine King. Jamie Reedy now looking for an opening. Drives it down the arc. Gets it over to Napoli, puts up a three. That one off the rim. Elaine King with the offensive board. Loses the ball, however. Taylor Rawls only has Jamie Reedy to contend with. Can't get the layup. So Maggie Robbins and the Tigers down the court with the 5-on-4. Get it over to Jamie Reedy. Reedy trying to drive it in. Over to Robbins again. And Maggie Robbins trying to conduct her offense. Drives it into the paint. Tries a fancy pass, but the ball will end up going out of bounds. So crew ball, and a tough tumble for Natalie Anderson. Looks like she's all right though.
Maggie Robbins, the team leader in assists last year. I believe got pretty close to a record last season in terms of her passing ability. Just a little bit too high there, as we're going to get another whistle.
And a jump ball is the call, so possession arrow will change as UD gets possession. And they will correctly see that Trinity had the possession arrow. So Tigers will get the advantage of that jump ball. good defense by the Tigers as they intercepted the inbounds pass. Another whistle blown.
This one's going to come on Harden again. There was a little bit of contact down there at around the free throw line between her and Elaine King, and it ended up biting her there.
So Maggie Robbins will try to find a Tiger yet again, looking for Napoli at first, but then gets it to King. King trying to dish it out to Napoli, finally does. Some good defense from the Crew early on, trying to break through. The Crew defense will be Maggie Robbins. Foul will be called, no and one this time, but a couple of shots from the charity stripe will be coming Maggie Robbins' way.
Great job there by Maggie, again driving down, using that speed to try and slice through the Crusaders' defense. Dallas, of course, had to foul there, and this first shot is going to end up going through.
And something perhaps a little uncharacteristic of the Tigers, 3 turnovers for them in the last minute. Don't see them losing the ball that often, but a couple of errant passes here and there and some good defense by the Crew have been creating a little bit of a chaotic start in Calgary. But Tigers still up 6-2 nonetheless, as the Crew have been hard-pressed to take advantage of it. Some nice passes, however, get the Crew down the court in the paint, passing it over, and the ball will ultimately be lost. That one, Kat Santos couldn't hang on to the pass. Maggie Robbins up to Reedy. Reedy thought about a 3, instead will take it in. Elaine King takes her pass, and the ball doesn't rim in. Natalie Anderson on the putback, however. 8-2 is the score as the Tigers extend their lead even more.
Anderson with a great job down low, fighting through the contact, and Anderson really has a lot more responsibility this year compared to last year, of course, with the graduation of longtime Trinity player Maggie Shipley, who ended up graduating last year. Anderson's role on this team has grown, and she has definitely stepped up into that new role very, very easily so far this year.
The Crew will attempt to inbound yet again. Gillespie finding Croft, and some tough defense, and we seem to have a Crusader down on the other end of the court, but meanwhile, it's put up and in. Whistle blows. Kat Santos with the bucket, but a player down. And
looks like it's number 22, I believe.
That would be Jordan Gillespie. It looked like some sort of foot injury as she went down.
There wasn't a lot of contact here. We're going to get a replay, and we're going to see what happened. So she's got the ball right there, and
looked like she rolled her ankle off of Maggie Robbins as Maggie Robbins came in to try and hit the ball away. Don't know the severity of the injury. We will take a break here on the Tiger Network as we hope that Gillespie is okay. And Gillespie being carried off the court. Not something you ever want to see. So Tigers will have possession of the ball as they lead 8-4 so far. Coming in for Gillespie is number 24, Alyssa Sullivan, a senior out of Wiley, Texas. Sullivan, one of 2 seniors that play for this team. Maggie Robbins over to Natalie Anderson. Anderson hands it off to Reedy. Reedy with a quick 3. Nearly drains it, but off the rim. Josie Napoli with an offensive board. Gets it to Reedy. Reedy denied by Sullivan, but some nice offensive rebounds. Gets the Tigers enough second chance opportunities to break double digits.
A great, great play there. And second chance points, third chance points. It's something that is a very underrated stat whenever you look at the success of a basketball team, and that's something that Coach Hill has really worked on prioritizing, not just this season, but in previous seasons as well, working on getting the offensive rebounds, getting the defensive rebounds as well, but offensive rebounds, working on keeping a possession alive.
Reedy with the ball in her hands, tries to work it into Elaine King and does. And King with a nice spin move and an easy layup puts the Tigers up 12-4 and a nice steal. Quick points for Natalie Anderson. Inbounding for the Tiger opponents is always rough, and they can put up points in a flash. Great job by Natalie Anderson to continue the Tigers' 14-2 run to start the game off.
This is why Trinity is so scary to go up against as you face them, especially here in Calgary, but just overall. They have an incredible press defense. It is very difficult to get through, and they are really showing it off here today. But just going off of the previous stoppage that we had for Gillespie, that is going to be a serious loss for Dallas because she leads the team in a lot of categories. Field goal percentage is a big one, but she is also one of their best defensive players as well. 15 blocks on the season, 15 steals on the season, 13 blocks. Got those mixed up, but she is a massive force on this team, and so this is going to be a very different Dallas team that we see without her. She averages 21 minutes a game, and so this is definitely going to be a blow for the Crusaders early.
They lost a good defensive player, and a healthy scratch for the start of this game was Tessa Hastings. If you're a Crusader fan, you may not see her on the court. That's because she is at her brother's wedding, so not here today. The Crew working the ball down the court, working it in. Foul drawn. Number 3, Adrian Alvarez, the junior out of El Paso, able to draw that foul. Not a shooting foul, so Crew will be the one to inbound. Kylie Minter enters the game, hit a couple of threes yesterday. Another electric player for the Tigers, the transfer from Southern Arkansas. And now handing it off to Caroline Croft. Croft trying to work it against King, instead defers to Rawls. Taylor Rawls drives it into the paint. Nice little pass to Santos, who gets the layup. 14-6. So Maggie Robbins and the Tigers work their way down the court yet again with another nice layup from Santos. Hand it off to Napoli. Napoli having to work against a stout Crusader defense as they try to stand strong in the absence of Gillespie. Napoli loses the ball for a second, gains control back of it though. Natalie Anderson in the paint, trying to work it in. And it's going to be a foul. And the bench for UD popping off at that one, not liking the call, but thinking it was really good defense instead.
Anderson had to get that shot up. There was 1 second left on the play clock whenever it left her hands, and very fortunate there that she was able to get it up. And yeah, Coach Sims was literally leaping up and down whenever that foul call was announced.
Next shot from Anderson, 2 for 2 from the charity stripe. Tigers are up by 10 right now. 4 minutes, 30 seconds left in the first quarter. Again, the Tiger press showing its effects here. Another shot from Santos, this time from the arc. That one won't go. So Maggie Robbins and the Tigers up to Minter. Minter, quick 3. Minter doesn't hit that one, but a nice idea to be sure. Rawls loses the ball out in the open, but finds the arms of Maria DeSenta. A bit fortunate there. Alvarez now trying to find Santos in the paint, and does. Will spin move from Santos, but can't have it go in. Natalie Anderson with the board. Now the Tigers off to the races again. Maggie Robbins trying to take it herself, and does. It's as easy as that when you're Maggie Robbins. And the Tigers go up by 12.
Absolutely nobody around Maggie Robbins, and that's one of the easiest layups I think that she'll get definitely this game, maybe all year, as that is a fantastic shot there by Taylor Rawls there to get that ball up and in.
A new face on the court is Annika Saenz, who takes that three but doesn't make it. And we're going to get foul on the court as Taylor Rawls, I believe, was knocked down.
That foul is going to come against Maddie Minter. Sorry, Kylie Minter.
And for the Tigers is Maddie Muller, number 21. Muller trailing behind that Crew player. And now Alvarez trying to work it in. Hands it over to Rawls. Rawls over to Alvarez. 15 seconds left on the shot clock. Alvarez works it in the paint, and that one is swatted away by Anderson. But too much height on Anderson there.
They've got a couple of substitutions here. Looks like it's going to be Bailey Timmons and Sky O'Rourke coming on for Josie Napoli, and that is going to be Natalie Anderson coming off. So two of the starters coming off now, and they were the last two starters that were on the court. So now no starters on the court for Trinity, still 3 on the court for the Crusaders.
Another whistle blown here. Let's see who they... And Maddie Muller will be tagged with that foul. And now UD will be the ones to inbound. See who takes the inbound or where they take it. As we take a moment to get set up once again. Finds Croft. Caroline Croft. Back to Alvarez, deep three. Off the back of the iron. Annika Saenz with the board. Saenz finding O'Rourke down court. Sky O'Rourke finding Minter. Some acrobatic needed to catch some of these passes. But either way, Kylie Minter driving up the arc. 14 seconds left on the shot clock. Muller puts up a three. That one off the backboard. Whistle blown. It will be Crew ball.
And they're going to call that one on Annika Saenz there. Looks like that is going to be her first personal foul of the evening so far.
And now UD in the bonus. So any foul that the Tigers make will result in some trips to the charity stripe.
And this is something a little bit different because Trinity is typically the one who is taking these shots so early. They've done a really good job all year in terms of staying calm, staying disciplined. So a little bit of a shift in normality from what we're used to here watching the Tiger women's basketball team.
And if UD wants to keep pace, drawing these fouls will be key. An unsuccessful trip from the charity stripe and another whistle blown. Little bit of frustration on the face of Alvarez there. As now both teams in the bonus, so perhaps this first quarter will slow down a little bit as we make multiple trips to the charity stripe. New face in for UD. That new face is number 5, Sophia Geisler. Another freshman on this UD squad. Bailey Timmons. First shot is a miss. Next free throw is a make, so 1 for 1. 19-8 now. Alvarez trying to find MK Pendergraft. Gets it to Santos. Santos back to Pendergraft. Pendergraft the intended receiver there, but a takeaway for the Tigers. And a heave down court is almost kept alive by Minter. Well, even if it was, I don't know if it was going to find a Tiger necessarily. But either way, a good attempt by Minter to keep it alive.
Minter doing a very great job there to try and keep it in. Although fairly lucky that she didn't end up injuring herself. Those metal bars do not feel good whenever you even bump into them. I can only imagine running into them at full speed like she did. But glad to see that it didn't affect her too much there as the play resumes.
And the three taken, not sunk, but another rebound for Sullivan. Tigers working their way down the court. Foul drawn MK Pendergraft will be tagged with this one as we are making another trip to the charity stripe. UD really needing some more shots to go in, one for their last 7 attempts. So Sky O'Rourke will be taking these shots. That one doesn't go. They'll get another opportunity. And both teams haven't hit a 3 so far. UD 0 for 3 from beyond the arc. Trinity 0 for 6. Looking to heat up. But either way, a good showing for the Tigers so far, and an errant pass ends up in the hands of Annika Saenz. Muller thought about taking a 3, but thought better of it. Instead, now Kylie Minter will try and get it into Sky O'Rourke, and does. O'Rourke can't put in the layup, and Alvarez loses the ball for a moment, but recollects herself there. And the shot from within the arc falls for Alyssa Sullivan. The senior showing off her seniority by staying calm and making that nice shot.
One thing that you mentioned was the 3 ball. Trinity really relies on, or well, it isn't really a reliance, but they do very heavily utilize the 3 ball, as this shot outside from Sky O'Rourke cannot fall, again from 3, but they've taken, heading into this game, over 203 attempts coming into this one, so they really do rely on the long ball a lot whenever it comes to scoring the amount of points they have so far this year.
Saenz dishes it down to Muller, and Muller bounces off the rim a couple times, and some big tumbles for some of the crew players. A foul drawn. MK Pendergraft took a big tumble there. Officials making sure she's okay. Both players up and good, it seems, so always nice to see. Caroline Croft back on the floor for UD, sophomore out of Bartlett, Illinois. Sky O'Rourke with some more free throws her way. Sends the Tiger lead to 10, and it is now 20-10.
Maria DeSenta was the one who came off for the Crusaders as that second shot goes through.
Now, UD, still a shot clock, 37 seconds left in the first quarter. Bit of an opening here from the elbow. That one won't fall, but offensive board for the crew. Another attempt. That one will go in for Sophia Geisler, freshman out of Hammond, Louisiana. The Tigers working quickly, no shot clock now. Trying to drive it in is Timmons. Timmons looking for an open Tiger. With some good defense by the crew. Sky O'Rourke puts it up and will draw a foul. With about 9 seconds left on the clock, a chance for the Tigers to break this palindrome score.
And again, just talking about it earlier, the free throws are something that Trinity has gotten an opportunity to take a lot of so far this year. Not only because they played in a lot of high-scoring games, but also because whenever you start getting into these games, teams will start to try and foul just to kind of try and slow it down, which has the knock-on effect of Trinity being able to get into the bonus as early as they do during, of course, this game, but also during most games that we get to cover here.
And it looks like a Tiger was a bit too quick to jump off of that free throw. So 22-12, and foul drawn yet again, 6 seconds left. First quarter will not end without another trip to the charity stripe. We've taken about 15 attempts so far in this first quarter.
Looks like it's going to be called there on Minter, and so that is going to be her second personal foul of the day so far. The sophomore out of League City, Texas.
Adrian Alvarez misses her first free throw. UD, if they make this, will give a chance for the Tigers for one last shot. That one is good, so 22-13. Minter, 4 seconds left, loses the ball. Alvarez puts up the layup, and a buzzer beater for UD. An incredible momentum grabber for them. 22-15 at the end of the first quarter. It's been back and forth, but a lot of personal fouls being flung around here in that first quarter. And for Trinity, no made shots and nearly 4 minutes to end that one off. all their points coming from the charity stripe. So it's been an interesting first quarter, to say the least.
For sure, and Trinity, Coach Hill down there on the sideline is really going to want to start working on picking up the pace a little bit, because it's been a very slow offense so far. They've done a great job of limiting Dallas's offense with that really, really strong press that they have utilized to incredible success so far this season. It's been something that they have worked on a ton, and it's clearly paying off right here. But another thing that Dallas is going to need to work on is just hitting those shots. They've been able to put it up a lot. It just hasn't been falling. And that's been sort of the tale of both the last game that we had with the men, but also last night as well. It isn't that Trinity is stopping the shots. A lot of shots are going up. The other teams just are struggling to get the ball into the net. And so that is going to be something that Dallas is definitely going to want to be focusing on as they head into this second quarter.
Into the second quarter now. Caroline Croft will be the one to start things off offensively for UD. Getting it down to Maria DeSenta, over to Rawls. Rawls, a big chuck over. And now trying to find Imani Harden in the paint, off the hands, a bit too high of a pass. So turn over for the Crew. Trinity will get a chance offensively to start their second quarter. Maggie Robbins does a handoff to Reedy, instead up to King. King will go to Napoli. Napoli at the top of the court. Works it down now. Trying to work it in with the paint, dealing with two Crusaders. Kicks out to Robbins. Robbins will try to take it, loses the ball. And a good takeaway by the Crew. Caroline Croft getting it over to Rawls as the Crew effectively working their way through this Tiger defense. But that one is airmailed by DeSenta. So a bit fortunate for Trinity. They get another opportunity to extend the lead.
Trinity right now, they have really struggled to get points on the board. Both teams really have 39% field goal percentage as that ball is lost. 39% field goal percentage for Trinity, 33 for Dallas so far. Both of these teams have not had a good night shooting so far, hoping that will pick up in the second half.
That one a bit too strong, but Jamie Reedy with the offensive board. That one off the iron. Another put up, and Natalie Anderson. When you need someone to put points on the board, you call her name. 24-15. The Crew working their way down the court quickly. Tigers get a takeaway, a good steal from Jamie Reedy, just coming from behind. And now Natalie Anderson again. And now the offensive engine for Trinity starting to hum once again, as Anderson has put 4 quick points on the board. Now UD. Rawls dishing it in to Harden. Imani Harden up, and that one will fall in. So UD able to respond.
One thing that I mentioned earlier, but I'm just going to bring up again, Natalie Anderson, 6'0", the exact same height as Maggie Shipley last season. Coach Hill and this Tiger offense, and also this defense, really rely on her for a lot of the down low pressures. That's a 3-ball by Maggie Robbins, no good. But they really do rely on Anderson a lot for essentially that big man type of role. Get down low, get those rebounds, put it up through the contact.
Imani Harden in the paint once again. That one won't go. Tigers get the rebound. Natalie Anderson working against Alvarez. Well, it's handed over to Napoli. Takes the deep 3. That one won't go. So the 3-point woes continue for both sides as the Tigers now 0 for 10. UD working it in. Get a 3 of their own. That one won't fall. 26-17 as the 3 attempts continue to pile in. Natalie Anderson over to Robbins. Robbins working around Anderson. Tries to get it to Reedy. Off her hands, but in to an awaiting Elaine King. Reedy gets the ball back. Reedy up to Napoli. Napoli off the iron. And Natalie Anderson able to cover her. Timeout hits the floor. Tigers up 28-17 And this UD squad, very, very young. 2 seniors that actually play in Alyssa Sullivan and Amani Harden, but 1 senior who was on the team last year has stepped into a coaching role, and that is Camille Fowler. You may recognize her from last year's broadcasts. Played for UD, but injuries took her out of the lineup this year. So instead, she stepped into a coaching role. When I got to talk to the head coach of Dallas, Coach Sims, she got to tell me that Millie is extremely knowledgeable about the game, so the shift in her role has been great for some of our younger players. She's able to help them navigate through various things. And against a tough Trinity press that Fowler has seen multiple times, her experience has certainly come in handy along with some of the sophomores on the group that got to see the tough press last year.
Just mentioning, of course, the high basketball IQ, it's always great to see a former player get a shot to coach. It's the same thing that we saw on the Trinity sideline. Of course, Kelly Simmons, former player, whenever we were both freshmen, I believe, decided to stick around here at Trinity, moved into a coaching role that last year, has really stepped into it this year. And I got to talk to Coach Hill and Coach Simmons for actually a Trinitonian piece earlier this year, and he just mentioned how incredible it is to have a former player on this squad that not only knows how he works, but also just the ins and outs of the team, and also somebody who has such an incredible basketball IQ. So the player-to-coach pipeline can have some really incredible benefits at times, and it's really showing off here for both these schools.
And I believe Reedy had a foot out of bounds, so UD will get another opportunity to cut down the deficit. As still, not a 3 has been made yet, as both sides really trying to heat that one up because that could be the difference maker. Driven in, ball is stripped out of the hands of DeSenta. Maggie Robbins and the Tigers back on the prowl. Robbins up to Napoli, to Reedy for the 3. And there we go. Break that 3-point drought, Jamie Reedy. No one other than the freshman, of course, tied the team record for 3s in a game in her first home game. UD working quick, putting it up, and a quick response by Sophia Geisler, but a great 3 by Reedy.
Trinity was 0 for 12 on 3s before that shot there by Jamie Reedy, but you mentioned, of course, her performance in the first game that you got to cover. It was just a fantastic effort by hers. That's another one from outside. So now after going 0 for 12 from outside the line earlier, they go, well, now 2 for 14. Obviously, still not the best in terms of percentage, but it's better than what it was.
Rebound by the Tigers. Napoli, we'll see if they look Reedy's way again. They do. Another 3 taken. That one a bit too far out for Jamie Reedy. And Reedy gets an interception off the pass intended for DeSenta. And now Napoli will try for a triple, and she hits it. So 37-19. As what 3-point woes were we even talking about? As now 3 quick 3s forced a timeout. As we head,
30-second timeout.
Looking at this replay right here. It's just such a simple motion, but it is flawless every single time.
Coach Sims and this Crusaders team are just trying to find anything in order to stop this onslaught of 3s after going on a massive drought. All of a sudden, they've hit 3 of their last 4. So it's just been an incredible run for the Tigers so far. They're averaging about 30 or so attempted 3s per game, and they're not shying away from it here. One of the big philosophies of Coach Hill is shoot or shoot, and right now they are shooting, and for the first time all night, they're making it finally.
37-19 the score now. Tigers in about 40 seconds put up 6 points very fast, and that pass is too far, so another turnover leads to another opportunity. Tigers have put up 16 points off of the 11 turnovers that the crew have had so far. Now Jalen Martin entering the game for Trinity, the sophomore out of Ashburn, Virginia. Maggie Robbins going to get over to Reedy. Reedy over to Napoli. Napoli back down to Robbins. Robbins looking. Martin up to Napoli. Napoli trying to drive it in. Working against the defense. Draws the foul. So some opportunities from the charity stripe for the Tigers to extend their lead to potentially 20.
Martin in particular is getting a lot more playing time so far this season. Of course, last season she was a freshman, didn't get a lot of opportunities, but now with graduations, with people kind of shifting roles a little bit, and also with her getting another year of experience, we have really seen her on this court a lot more, being able to see what she's able to do. And even though she hasn't had the biggest impact on the team so far, she is definitely making one, and it is great to see how much depth this Trinity team is able to use.
38-19 is the score. So, DeSenta for UD, trying to get it to Croft, and does. Caroline Croft in the paint, doesn't go. Rebound by the Tigers. Natalie Anderson trying to break through, forcing the foul out of the UD defense. So we will head back to inbound it again. So team foul number 2. Reedy will be the one to make the inbound. Kylie Minter on the court again for Trinity. Minter up to Napoli. Napoli looking inside. Defers it down to Natalie Anderson. Back up to Napoli. Handing it off to Martin. Jalen Martin now working her way in. Kicks it out to Reedy again. Reedy steps back over to Martin. 10 seconds left on the shot clock. Martin in the paint. That one won't go. Tigers get the board. That one doesn't fall either. Reset the shot clock. Minter picks it up. Tries to put it in. Float shot doesn't go. And so many second chances. None of them able to fall. Foul on the floor, but some good boards. That was an impressive shot after the whistle, but it'll be a UD inbound coming up.
Unfortunate that it didn't count. It was a great shot. Looks like they're gonna put the foul there on Jamie Reedy, who has just come off. Looks like Ivory Scott has just come onto the court for the Tigers. The freshman out of Waco, getting some opportunities here.
DeSenta off the iron. Napoli and the Tigers get everything set up on offense. Napoli and over to Anderson. Anderson down to Scott. Ivory Scott bounces it over to Josie Napoli. Napoli into Scott. Scott under the hoop is able to get the layup. 40-19 now as the Tigers continue to extend their run.
Scott had some contact there on that shot from behind. However, she did not let it affect her, as we're going to get another whistle here. But Scott did a great job of just fighting through that pressure, getting the ball up, and not letting it affect her too much mentally, as we're going to get the replay here. And yeah, a lot of contact after the shot there. That was Alyssa Sullivan, the senior out of Wiley, but officials didn't call it, and it ended up in points anyways.
Maddie Muller back on the court for Trinity. Now working outside, Taylor Rawls. Rawls trying to find someone in the paint. Dan Martin punches it away from Adrian Alvarez. So UD will inbound. Crew really need to start working fast, because down by nearly 20 against the highest scoring team in the nation, it's certainly a tall task to come back. That three doesn't fall, so the woes for the Crew continue from beyond the arc. Ivory Scott gets it, and over to Saenz. Annika Saenz had some great games against TLU and Southwestern. Sinks that triple there, saying the lead to 43-19 now.
Trinity took 51 three-point attempts last night. And they are continuing to really prioritize the three ball here this evening. And so far, at least in the last 10-15 minutes, it has really started working out for them, as that one doesn't end up going in. But over the last few minutes, it has really started to pan out for them. It didn't at the start, but they have really heated up so far as this game has gone along.
It's a 17-2 run for Trinity over the last 5 minutes nearly. And for UD, about a 4-minute scoring drought right now. Trying to quench it, but unable to, was Taylor Rawls. Sophomore out of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Not having any luck from beyond the arc. Irie Scott gets it over to Muller. Maddie Muller back down to Minter. M&M connection working strong right now. Scott over to Minter. Minter over to Signs. Signs can't get it in from the paint. So UD with a good opportunity here. But Tiger defense is now set, so a much tougher task. Rawls up to Alvarez. Alvarez loses the ball. Muller able to pick it up. And a 2-on-1 now. Muller gets it over, and some nice passes, doesn't go in, but the second chance bucket from Annika Signs able to strike home. 45-19 now as Trinity takes a nice lead with about a minute left in the second quarter. Sullivan sinks the quick floater there to respond for UD.
Signs, the junior out of Edinburgh, transferred last year into the Trinity program, and she's been really, I like to describe her as a sneaky good player. Whenever you think of the great players on the team, you think Josie Napoli, Maggie Robbins, but Annika is a really underrated threat as she gets another three to extend this lead now and break and come close to breaking 50.
There we go, live evidence that the commentator's curse does not exist. And the shot from within the arc doesn't fall for Sullivan. Now, Minter tried to get it to Signs, but instead picked off by Taylor Rawls. Rawls gets a nice layup. Minter with a heavy swipe. And we are at halftime here at CalGuard Gym. Trinity up 48-23 on the Crew. It's been a great overall performance on both sides of the ball for the Tigers, really stepping it up for three in the second quarter, forcing turnovers, scoring points. It's all in a day's worth of work for the Tigers.
And one of the big reasons for this is Natalie Anderson. She's already got a double-double here as we head into the locker room. 14 points leads the team, also leads the team with 12 rebounds so far today. So her work down low is definitely not the flashiest of all. You know, whenever you think of, you know, high-profile players, you think three-point shooters, high-speed layups, things like that. But the tough, grimy work down low is really, really an important aspect, not just in basketball, but in other sports as well. But at the moment, Natalie Anderson doing a fantastic job being a good down low force for these Tigers, and a big reason why they're up right now, 23-48.
We will take a 14-minute break on the Tiger Network to let these teams talk things over, make adjustments, and we'll see what they have in store for us after halftime. Stay tuned on the Tiger Network. Nearly underway in the second half here in Calgary Gym. Trinity up on UD 48-23. Just one change to the starting lineup. Same for the Tigers. But for the Crew, Adrian Alvarez will be playing for the injured Jordan Gillespie. So it'll be an interesting matchup for the Tigers as two of the tallest players for the Crew have now gone down. We'll see how they handle them here in the second half. But really, Caleb, what is the big stat line is UD has been turning the ball over quite a bit, and the Tigers, being ever opportunistic, have gotten a ton of points off of it.
It's something that Coach Hill and this Tiger defense really try and work on. Those turnovers will win you games, because looking at the points off of turnovers, Dallas has 14 turnovers, or had 14 turnovers in the first half. Trinity scored 19 of their 48 points off of those turnovers. So it is a really, really important thing for this Dallas offense to avoid giving the ball away so freely.
And Natalie Anderson gets tagged with the foul there. UD to inbound. Gets it up to Taylor Rawls. Rawls works her way down the three-point arc to Adrian Alvarez, coming in for the injured Gillespie to start the second half, trying to find Amani Harden, but instead it will end up out of play. But Tigers touched it last, so another chance for Caroline Croft and the Crew to try and get another attempt at a bucket. Quick pass into DeCenta, and DeCenta will get an and one. Little delayed call there, but either way, good inbound, good shot, and a good opportunity to cut into the deficit for UD.
We're going to need to look at the replay there, because I didn't see a lot of contact there on that shot in particular, as the shot does not fall. But it didn't look like there was a lot of contact. The foul going to go on Natalie Anderson, it looks like.
Now UD with the board off of the missed shot from the Tigers. And Croft getting it over to Alvarez. Alvarez draws the foul. I'm sure they are happy to make the Tigers foul them as quickly as possible, because they need a ton of chances at shots. So another trip to the charity stripe, this time for Adrian Alvarez.
It's going to be the first foul there on Maggie Robbins on the evening so far, as that shot goes up and in. Of course, you mentioned the two tallest players being out. Of course, Jordan Gillespie, the tallest of those players, listed at 6'2". And, of course, Tessa Hastings out for the wedding at 6'1", at 6'1". 6 foot and 1 inches.
Maggie Robbins hands it off to Reedy. Reedy takes a three. That one off the front of the iron. Napoli trying to work it in the paint. Kicks it back out to Reedy. Reedy into Anderson. Natalie Anderson already with a double-double on the night. Back out to Robbins. Now with 10 seconds left on the shot clock at the top of the key. Robbins tried to find King. And 4 seconds left, having to put up a three and makes it.
They're going to call it two. Looks like Josie's foot was just on the inside of the line, but a fantastic job by Napoli to get that ball up with the shot clock going down. And Trinity has finally broken 50 here.
And yep, feet on the line there. So a nice two. Had to put up a heads-up shot with that short shot clock. 50-27 now. DeCenta will be the ones to inbound it. DeCenta gets it over to Caroline Croft, sophomore out of Bartlett, Illinois. Back to DeCenta, the sophomore out of Allen, Texas. And Maggie Robbins picks her pocket. And that'll be an easy layup for Maggie Robbins. It's what she does best. Tigers up 52-27.
Not only did Robbins lead the team last year in terms of steals, she also did so in assists as well, assists and steals. She has been fantastic with the ball in her hands. Not necessarily in terms of point scoring. Obviously, she can do that too. But her main sort of attributes involve getting the ball and handing it off to a teammate who is able to get it in for points.
And now the Crew Caroline Croft getting it in to Harden. Harden with the underhanded layup attempt, doesn't get it. Natalie Anderson tried to get the board. It's going to be Tiger ball as Harden falls out of bounds with the ball. So another opportunity for Trinity to go in and extend their lead ever more. And Maggie Robbins with 248 steals in her career coming into this one has been one of the most prolific pickpockets for this program. She drives it into the paint. Foul called. Robbins tonight has a single steal. The Tigers have 10 in total. They've been very effective at taking the ball away from the crew, as Robbins will be the one to make the inbounds pass. Tries to find Natalie Anderson, comes off of DeSenta, so another chance for Robbins and the Tigers to reset the offense. 7:33 left on the clock for the third quarter. Robbins puts it up to Napoli. Josie Napoli driving it into the paint. Tries to get a nice pass, but it bounces off of Harden and into Taylor Rawls' hands. Rawls over to Alvarez. Alvarez twisting and turning, trying to break the Trinity press. Rawls trying to get to Harden. Bit low of a pass and a takeaway for the Tigers. This one from Natalie Anderson. Maggie Robbins working her way in quickly, puts it up and puts it in with an and one on the way. Great job for Maggie Robbins as Trinity is doubling up the crew.
The senior out of Plano, she just does everything. She scores, she gets the ball away from the opponent. She does a fantastic job in every single thing that she does, and she's really showing it off here, not just today, but throughout the course of the season. She has been absolutely fantastic, building off of her success over the last couple of years, and she is definitely one of the main faces of this team through the 2023-24 season.
55 points for Trinity. Maggie Robbins, third all-time on the steals list for this program, past Caitlin Barrett, who played back in 2012 to 2016 to take a place on the podium. Now setting her eyes to Abby Holland, trying to pass her before her senior year ends. And now passing in back out to Alvarez. Alvarez, it was in but rattled out, so unlucky for UD. Maggie Robbins drives it in, kicks it out to Minter. Now Napoli with the open three, and she sinks it. And a big swing there, 58-27. Bad luck for UD, and then a great opportunity for the Tigers, and they hit it home.
Napoli's had just a little bit of struggles from the three-point arc so far this season. Hasn't really had the best of times compared to especially last year, where she was one of the team leaders alongside Ashlyn Milton, as that's going to be another three there for Dallas. But so far this game, at least, Josie has really started to step up. Hasn't taken a lot of threes, or well, she has taken 6 threes, so a relatively high number whenever you consider that only 21 threes have been attempted so far today. But she has made a lot cleaner shots, and so far she is one of the top on the team with 11 points.
And Minter draws the foul there. Sophia Geisler with that three for UD to make the score 58-30. Maggie Robbins with that sole steal tonight brings her career total to 249. Second place on the list is at 279, so definitely an achievable goal for Maggie Robbins. Seen her have double-digit steal games before. First free throw from Minter. Bounces in, 59-30 now. An opportunity to go up by 30. If Minter can sink her second free throw. 10 for 16 from the charity stripe tonight are the Tigers. And they sink that one. So 60-30 with about 5 minutes left in the third quarter. Maria DeSenta trying to find MK Pendergraft. Finally does. Pendergraft back to DeSenta. And DeSenta will draw the foul. And the ever-present bench of the Tigers disagreeing with the call. And now with team foul number 5, some trips to the charity stripe are in order for UD. And quite early on to get these trips to the charity stripe in the bonus. About over 5 minutes left to play in the third quarter. They'll have to use these opportunities very well as they cut the lead by 1. Another shot. And both of them not good, but an offensive board. So another opportunity for Dallas. And nearly a steal from Minter. But instead, UD will have a chance with DeSenta. DeSenta hands it over to Geisler, and it makes it all the way up to Alvarez. Alvarez puts up a high arcing shot, and the board by Natalie Anderson continuing her great night. Anderson hands it up the signs, down to Robbins. Robbins gets it into Anderson, and what a great sequence there from Trinity to put themselves up 62-31.
That's the kind of teammate communication that Maggie has with her fellow Tigers. She is just so good at finding those little tiny gaps in the defense, able to read where her teammates are going, and she has incredible accuracy on her passes as well, which is what has allowed her to rack up the assist numbers, not just this season, but last season as well.
UD able to respond thanks to Santos. Napoli down to Minter. Minter at the top of the arc. Passes it up to Napoli, which is then handed back down to Robbins. The conductor at work again, gets it to Napoli, doesn't take the 3, instead, little short jumper there. That one doesn't hit the rim. Foot out of bounds, it's going to be Crew ball. Some subs coming onto the floor. Taylor Rawls back in the game for the Crew. Meanwhile, Bailey Timmons in for Trinity. Timeout on the floor. Tigers up 62-33, and really, that 3-point percentage is quite the storyteller. 6 for 21 for Trinity, 1 for 9 for UD. And for Trinity, those threes have helped them really balloon this lead to put this one out of hand.
They definitely haven't attempted as many as they did yesterday. Of course, a really pretty much insanely high number. They went 14 of 51 last night. So, 14 three-pointers, typically you'd say that that's okay, but whenever you look at the 51, you'd expect at least that many to end up going in with the kind of shooters that Trinity has on this team. But so far, they appear to be not taking as many risks with the ball. Obviously, at the start of the game, they did have that issue in terms of getting the ball up and getting the ball in. They went 0 for 12 to start the game, but then as soon as they started making it, it just domino affected. And ever since then, they have gone 6 of 9 after starting 0 and 12. So they are definitely utilizing the 3 and being rewarded for it a bit more now than they did in the first half.
Tigers with 37 rebounds, 17 of them credited to Natalie Anderson. And driving it in is DeSenta. DeSenta can't put it in. Up the board by Signs. Jump ball. So the Crew will get the ball back on the jump ball. So good play by the Crew defense there. They get another opportunity. Down 62-33. They need all they can get. Pass down. Trying to drive it in. And whistle blown. Be a foul. And I believe it's going to be on Bailey Timmons. It is.
With this being a SCAC conference matchup, of course, these two teams have played a lot over the course of both programs' history. Trinity has really been in control of this series, though, 45 wins compared to 4 wins for Dallas overall. And Reed, I know that we have it in our notes, but I'm going to cover it up here on the paper. I'm not going to let you look at the notes. When do you think the last time Dallas ended up beating Trinity? Just give me a year. You don't need to give me an exact date.
I'm gonna say 2018.
2012.
It's been a rough couple of years for this Dallas program, but Coach Sims is rebuilding it into potentially something great. Coach Hill, when I talked to him, remembered the win they got up in Colorado And he said he remembers stuff like that. This UD squad has a bunch of things. They got that win in the COVID year, and that was before all these young players came in. They're a fun team to play, and Coach Hill certainly has a blast whenever the crew come to town. 62-35, and now Maggie Robbins tries to pass it in to Signs. Signs off the bottom of the rim. MK Pendergraph getting it to Maria DeSenta, and DeSenta with the dish in to Sullivan. And Alyssa Sullivan, the senior, putting up some more points. 62-37 now. And whistle blown. It's going to be crew ball. So Caroline Croft back on the floor. We've already mentioned that Tessa Hastings out for a wedding. I must have some sort of alignment for things like that happening, because this is the fourth game I've called where a player's been out for a family member's wedding. I've called 4 separate games in different sports, all for that reason that a player's missed. Can't happen that often, I think, but we'll see as the years go along, I suppose. And now Timmons looking for an inbound. Gets it to Minter. Minter looking down the court. Always dangerous from the perimeter is Minter. Hands it up to Signs. And now Sky O'Rourke up to Timmons. Timmons defers it down to Muller. Maddie Muller will draw the foul. That'll be personal foul number 4 for the quarter for UD.
At the moment, Dallas is in the bonus. Trinity 1 foul away from being in the bonus. As this shot is up by Annika Signs, does not fall, rattles out of the rim and being taken back by Sophia Geisler.
Now Geisler hands it back down to DeSenta. DeSenta with the nice short shot in the paint. 62-39 as UD on a little run here near the end of the third quarter. 8-0 run to be exact. 3-minute scoring drought for the Tigers. Minter trying to quench it and does. 64-39. Now UD with the quick turnaround here. DeSenta can't respond just yet. And that'll be Tiger ball. Went off a crew before it went out of bounds. Trinity up 64-39. Both teams in the bonus. We may see this one slow down a little bit at the end. And now Muller getting it over to Timmons. Timmons driving in. And once again, proof that the commentator's curse doesn't exist as we are heading to the charity stripe. Bailey Timmons drawing the foul there.
Timmons going to go up to the line here for her free throw attempts. So far on the season, she's been, pretty okay. Hasn't gotten a lot of free throw opportunities, but when she has gotten them, she has been pretty good. 4 of 6 heading into this game from the line.
65-39. Now 66-39. As 2 points from the line for Timmons. Now Dallas having to work against this press. Rawls having to step back, going up against Timmons. Rawls passing it over to Sullivan. Sullivan with the jump shot within the arc. Can't make it. Muller getting harassed. And foul called. So Maddie Muller will head to the charity stripe now with the minute 12 left on the clock.
I was just about to say both of these teams have 15 fouls. Make that 16 now for Dallas right now. 16 fouls for Dallas at the moment on the floor. Rawls has 1, Geisler with 3, Croft and DeSenta with 1, and Sullivan with 3 as well. So a little bit of foul trouble starting to sneak in for this Crusaders team. Trinity has 15, but on the floor right now, The highest is Kylie Minter, who only has 2. Bailey Timmons, Annika Sines, and Maddie Moeller only have 1, with Skylar Work so far staying clean as we have about a minute left to go here in this third quarter.
68-39. Rawls trying to dish it in, but a little too inaccurate for a quick layup. Rawls over her head, out of bounds, and we've seen it a couple times tonight, but another errant pass going out of bounds for the Crew, leading for another opportunity for the Tigers to score points off the turnover. 24 points tonight off turnovers. The Tigers have scored. 50 seconds left in the third quarter. Minter passing it up to O'Rourke. Skylar O'Rourke trying to drive it in. Dishes it back up to Minter. Minter over to Moeller. Moeller takes a 3, and she sinks it. 71-39 as Trinity trying to rev up the engine yet again. Quickly driving it in, and the and one. So potentially a 3-point play to respond to a 3-point play as Maria DeCenta drives it hard and draws the foul.
Great response there by Dallas, and you can see a very easy foul to call there on Annika Sines. But that makes Trinity 7 of 24 so far from beyond the 3-point line as that shot goes in to make it a 3-point play in response to the 3. We're going to see what Trinity does here with about 20 seconds left to go. Shot clock is off, so Trinity could take this down to the buzzer if they wanted to.
Muller tries to drive it in, gets a nice pass, and an and one to respond to an and one. Now the points are starting to fly across the board. A great little pass right there. Such a tight window to get it to Timmons, and also a great shot by Timmons as well. So 73-42 with an and one on the way.
Not sure if you guys could see that at the bottom corner of your screen, but whenever that and one attempt went in, it was an electric Trinity bench. One of the things that caught my eyes immediately was Josie Napoli, I believe it was, just slamming a towel down in celebration. So this team is getting really, really excited right now, and they are really enjoying this lead that they have.
And putting it up and in. So a buzzer beater for Maddie Muller. 76-42. Everything's coming up Tigers now. 76-42. Heading into the fourth quarter. Trinity, thought maybe they were stalling a little bit, but then rev up the engine again. A ton more points get on the board, and ended off with a buzzer beater. Buzzer beater heading into the fourth quarter, maybe almost in response to that buzzer beater Dallas had in the first. It is a fun time to be a Tiger right now.
Trinity is just absolutely rolling right now, and they are definitely enjoying it. But this is what this Tiger team does. They score points. Again, you mentioned during our open, leading the nation in terms of points per game, and they are really keeping the gas on right now, averaging 86-ish points per game. Only 10 points away from breaking the average. So this is something that Trinity is definitely going to be working on, continuing to score points, keeping the gas on, because just as Trinity has scored a lot of points so far, Dallas could, or Dallas could just randomly get hot, and so you can never afford to slow down, at least until the final few minutes when you know it's out of reach. But with another quarter still left to go, I highly expect to see this Trinity offense still going on the attack, at least for the first, I'd say, 5-6 minutes of this fourth and final quarter.
And now, starting 5 back on the court for the Tigers. We've seen them do a lot of things right tonight. That one lost, however, and Rawls driving it down the court. That one will not be a good layup attempt, and a foul drawn. So quick foul to start things off in the fourth quarter. And Alvarez will be tagged with the foul. So Napoli will inbound it, looking for either Robbins or Reedy. Hand it over to Reedy, back to Napoli. Napoli will lead the Tigers down the court. Passes it over to Reedy. Reedy trying to get to Robbins. A little contested, but Robbins able to corral it. Now Elaine King. King down to Robbins. Robbins works her way around at the top of the key now. Tries to get a strong pass in to Anderson, but instead Anderson will be unable to collect it. Crew get a chance to try and erase the deficit. They'll have to score quite a bit in just 10 minutes, but you know, you never know what can happen, right?
Exactly, and that pass just a little bit too hot there. Bounced off the ground, and Anderson couldn't get her hands on it in time, but still a comfortable lead. I don't think that's going to be something that's going to be keeping her up at night, as that is a fantastic shot from outside. That's going to be number 13, Maria DeSenta, who gets that big three there for the Crusaders.
Reedy working against Geisler. Reedy nearly loses the ball, gets it to Anderson. Anderson draws the foul. The double-double night for the sophomore out of San Jose, California will only continue to improve as she gets some opportunities at the charity stripe. Anderson, first shot is a swish, 77-45. Natalie Anderson leading the team in terms of points per game, about 18.5 entering this one. And she sinks them both, so 78 points on the board for the Tigers, 18 points for Natalie Anderson. And she's nearly met her quota. And no three taken there. Croft with the pass attempt in, but instead intercepted by Napoli. Good coverage from the Tigers under the basket. Reedy trying to drive it in, puts it up, and puts it in. 80-45 now, as Jamie Reedy shows off her footwork there. Geisler passing it back to Croft, gets it to DeSenta. DeSenta trying to take it herself. A little Euro step action, but layup no good. The Rawls will try. Hooks a pass over. No three attempt from Geisler, instead opting to give it to Croft. Croft off the backboard, and another board for Anderson. Maggie Robbins and the Tigers hand it over to Anderson, kicked out to Napoli, and that one in and out, just hitting off both sides of the rim there. So still 80-45, but a good look for Josie Napoli.
You could see the sideline standing up, getting ready to celebrate if that one went in. They are almost expecting it to go in at this point with the way that Trinity is really heated up in this second half so far. As that's a great drive, and that's going to be a foul. That looks like it's going to go on number 50. That's going to be Imani Harden, the senior out of Helotes.
So some more opportunities for Anderson to improve upon her night at the charity stripe. Anderson 4 for 4 so far. Now on the floor for UD. Number 4, Bailey Darnielle. So some new faces for Dallas, as that first shot is true.
We've already mentioned it, but Anderson has had a fantastic night so far, as we're going to get the second shot here. The second shot does not fall, but that'll still give her 19 points on the evening with 18 rebounds, both offensively and defensively. So she has had a fantastic double-double performance here in Calgard.
And an and one for Imani Harden. So 81-47 with some change on the way potentially. So Imani Harden does have to be careful, has 4 personal fouls. Harden will try and sink an and one to bring the deficit a bit shorter. Off the back of the rim though. Now Maggie Robbins and the Tigers. Jalen Martin on the court for Trinity. Martin gets the ball up to Napoli, drives it into the paint, and a foul drawn. So another foul on the floor. It'll be personal foul number 4 for UD in this quarter, just one away from giving Trinity free trips to the charity stripe. Something that they've been very adept at doing tonight.
they're going to call that foul there on Maria DeSenta, the sophomore out of Allen.
Josie Napoli with a nice bucket there, makes it 83-47. DeSenta puts it up from the elbow, can't get it to fall. And Darnielle able to get it to Harden. Amani Harden draws the foul. So the big player in the paint seeing some action here in the fourth quarter.
They're going to whistle Anderson there as we see Jamie Reedy coming off in exchange for Ivory Scott, a freshman for freshman swap. Amani Harden currently shooting the free throws at the moment, but on defense, she is going to have to be very aware because she does have 4 fouls, and with Dallas already losing 2 of their bigger players for this game, Coach Sims and this team really, really need her to stay in this game for as long as possible.
Napoli working around Anderson. It's going to be, I believe, a blocking foul on Anderson. So, no, Natalie Anderson, I believe that would be her 4th personal foul if they count that one on the stats. So we'll see how much longer she stays in the game. Trinity waiting for UD to drive it down. DeSenta up to Geisler. Geisler trying to get it in. Now DeSenta, after taking the pass from Kropp, little Euro step action. That one doesn't fall, however. Maggie Robbins and the Tigers now working their way back down the court. Jalen Martin over to Napoli. Napoli driving it in. Over to Anderson. Anderson with the nice lay. 85-48. It has been a tough time to cover Natalie Anderson if you're really any team in the nation. But Dallas is finding out firsthand why that is so. And a block there from Natalie Anderson. Johnny on the spot, doing pretty much everything right now. Napoli gets it over to Scott. Scott doesn't take the 3, takes us a shorter jumper. That one rims out. DeSenta with the rebound, and UD will head back down the court.
Again, Trinity just staying on the attack, both offensively and defensively. They've kept the gas basically planted to the floor all game long, and they are not slowing down anytime soon, just trying to extend this lead and maybe even break the century mark. Who knows?
Now more trips to the charity stripe. This time Jalen Martin will head there. Hasn't taken a trip yet. So 2 shots for Martin as Tigers in the bonus with about 5 minutes left in the game here. Going through the routine. First shot is good. 86-48 now the score. Now Martin getting ready for her second shot. That one won't go. Amani Harden with the board. And UD, we'll see how quickly they work. DeSenta has been doing a lot tonight. Geisler puts up a shot, and a nice shot from within the arc. Swishes it, so 86-50. Maggie Robbins hands it over to Minter. Kylie Minter over to Anderson. Natalie Anderson up to Jalen Martin. Martin trying to drive it in. Can't put in the layup, but Anderson trying to get the board will draw the foul. And 21 points and 20 boards for Anderson, but it looks like Anderson took an awkward fall. It's going to be the end of her night as she limps off the court under her own power, but it looks like perhaps some UD players may have accidentally landed on her. So Annika Sainz will be the one to take the free throws here, and Amani Harden has fouled out of the game as she got tagged with that one. Timeout on the floor. Tigers up 86-50. A great night for Anderson. We'll hope it's not soured by an injury.
And I mean, even if it isn't a serious injury that is going to result in missed time, you know, I do not see her coming back in this game. For one thing, you don't want to aggravate a potential injury. But also, on top of that, you know, this is an 86-50 game with 5 minutes to go. And even though, you know, we try and be as unbiased as possible, and even though we want to see good, close games, it's going to be, you know, almost impossible for Dallas to score 36 in the next 4 minutes, 58 seconds. So in a situation like this, letting Anderson sit, letting her kind of rest up and not risking further injury is definitely the way to go for Coach Hill and this team.
And 20 rebounds for Anderson. The last player to get 20 rebounds for the Tigers in a game was back in 2013, Libby Cruz versus UC Santa Cruz, on December 6, 2013. It's been quite a while since we've seen a performance like that. Nearly exactly a decade since that has happened. So quite a historic night for Natalie Anderson. Annika Sainz sinks the first free throw.
Cruz versus Cruz. A fantastic game for her, of course, and a wonderful evening for Natalie Anderson, of course. Again, as you mentioned, doesn't end the way that she would have hoped for, but still a great game to end out the final home game for these Tigers in 2023.
And a quick foul. Tigers in the bonus. So they're going to head to the free throw line. Kylie Minter picked the pocket and drew the foul. 2 for the price of 1. So Maddie Mueller will head onto the court. And Maggie Robbins heading back to the bench. Very likely the end of her night as well. A nice night for Maggie Robbins, who is always happy to conduct the Trinity offense, no matter who's out on the court. First shot is good for Minter. So 89-50. The shot will be to go up by 40 potentially. Minter's free throw is good. So 90-50 with about 5 minutes left in the fourth quarter. It's been a great game for Trinity. They have met their mark as the highest scoring team in the nation. That one a bit too far. Minter may hand it to Mueller. She does. Maddie Mueller fumbles the ball a little bit, gets it to Minter again. So a little bit of ball handling problems, but foul drawn. So more free throws for the Tigers on the way.
Looks like it's going to be on Darnell, I believe, for Dallas, the freshman out of Colorado Springs. The next time that you're going to see these Tigers here at CalGuard Gym is going to be in the new year. Their next home game slated for January 2nd. That one, again, an SCAC matchup. But over the Christmas break, they're going to get to go to a couple of tournaments, one up in Seattle. I believe whenever I got to talk to Coach Kelly Simmons before this game, she said they're leaving on Monday. And then pretty much immediately after that, they're going to a tournament in Las Vegas. So a pretty busy Christmas break full of traveling for these Tigers, but one that will hopefully get them some really good experience against different competition than you would see in the SCAC.
And whistle blown again, as once again we're getting a bit foul happy here in CalGuard Gym. That one will be tagged on Jalen Martin. And a quick free throw from Caroline Croft. 92-51 the score right now. And UD won for their last 7 shots. Trying to leave CalGuard with some momentum. Because at this point, that is the best thing they can do. Because even though you know pretty much that this one is going to be a loss, it is now about how you lose rather than if you are going to lose or not. Mueller puts up a 3 off the iron. And UD with the rebound. We'll see if they can grab some of that momentum that they'll need coming out of San Antonio. Geisler just allowing the play to get reset. Pass over to Croft. Croft getting it into Santos. Santos can't put in the layup. They're going to call UD ball. And now in for UD, number 20, Madison Olgan. New face on the court for UD, freshman out of San Antonio, Texas, so a bit of a homecoming for her. Gets it into Santos.
You mentioned how for Dallas, it's really about how they lose. And one thing that really stuck out to me, a memory that just sort of unlocked, was whenever, or I remember one game in particular. It was, I believe, like my freshman year or something like that. And my coach, I just remember him saying, okay, turn off the scoreboard. Don't focus on winning the game. Focus on winning every possession that you can. Every single time that we get the ball, the score is 0-0. Focus on getting points.
That one hitting off the top bar above the net, so whistle for a ball out of play. But unfortunate for the Tigers, as I'm sure they wanted a chance to get a rebound. And Cam Hill's philosophy of every play has meaning. So whether they're up by 40, by 2, by 100, they are going to play to their max strength, no matter who it is, what the situation is. And it has brought this program tons of success over the years that Coach Hill has been at the head. Now, next free throw attempt is 92-54. That one is sunk, so a good job for Bailey Haas. New face on the court for the Crew. Annika Signs steps back, loses the ball for just a second, but gains it back. Another foul drawn, so back to the charity stripe. Could potentially make this a 94-55 game. And Tigers really coming out swinging. After a really close game against TLU that required a buzzer beater and a nice run in overtime. After the first 3 possessions, everyone really knew that that one was over after that. 16-6, they outscored the Bulldogs. And the Bulldogs, who now have upended Colorado College as perhaps the team to take on the Tigers. They beat them 69-66 up in Colorado Springs earlier this week. So UD now trails 94-55, about 2.5 minutes on the clock. Still plenty of time to grab that momentum where they can. And Geisler hitting it over to Sullivan. Sullivan back into Geisler. And now shot from the elbow is good. Good shot from Bailey Haas, freshman out of Hallettsville, Texas. Avery Scott stepping back, letting the play set. Getting it into Minter, but Minter, little weird bounce off the hands. It'll be a turnover, but the ball is hit away by Minter. So Minter cleaning up her own mistake there. Martin with the open 3, that one off the rim. Easy offensive board. Open 3 for Muller. That one goes in. So 97-57. Tigers up by 40.
Trinity is really starting to flirt with that century mark right now. The last time they did it, they haven't done it all season so far. The last time that this team broke 100 was last season, and they did it quite a few times. The most recent one coming with their regular season finale, a 125-64 win over the Southwestern Pirates on Senior Day back on February 18th. They also had a 109-47 win versus Dallas towards the end of the season last year. Of course, started out the year with that massive 140-87 victory in that exhibition tournament to start the year, but this is the first time that Trinity has scored this many points. They score a lot of points normally, but this is the first time in a long time that they've scored this many and have an opportunity to hit triple digits.
Yeah, a team that's scoring 86.3 points per game. Highest scoring offense in the nation. They lead in a ton of other statistical categories as well. 3-pointers per game. They're #1 in the nation. They hit about 10 per game. Tonight from beyond the arc, they've hit 8. So just barely not getting their average. But I'm sure when you're winning by this much, everyone at that bench is just happy to take home the W at the end of the day. And free throws made per game, they're second in the nation. And turnovers forced per game, they're 10th in the nation. Turnover margin, they're 9th in the nation. Just so many high rankings for these Tigers in this statistical category. As we come out of the timeout, 97-57, a minute 29 left to go. Scott to inbound it. And it's going to be to Sky O'Rourke as UD not really pressing Trinity at all at this point. Will just allow them to get back down the court. O'Rourke being over to Timmons. Timmons finding Ivory Scott. Scott working it in the paint. Puts it up. Can't put it in, however. So rebound by Darnielle for UD. Darnielle down to Geisler. Geisler will get it over to Olgan. And a bit of pressure from the Trinity defense still. Minute left on the clock. Geisler stepping back, slowing down the play a little bit. Geisler takes it from the paint. And it's 97-59. A nice shot from Geisler as the Tigers quickly working their way back down the court. Every play has meaning. Bailey Timmons trying to work it in. Staying beyond the arc, puts up a three, long three, and she sinks it! 100! The century mark reached for the Tigers, and what better way than a deep three from Bailey Timmons?
Do you remember how we were talking about how many three struggles there were earlier on in the game? Well, completely forget about it. This team has lit up since about, I'd say, midway through the second quarter, and they have not stopped. That makes it their 9th three-pointer of the day so far. And they have been absolutely electric from beyond the line. As that's going to be another three, a three in response shot by the Crusaders. That one is going to be good by Olgan.
And I'm going to have to call up Ryan Janselson and let him know we got free tacos in CalGuard Gym because the Tigers have won 100-62 against UD. An exciting win, an electric offense, a great defense, everything going right for Trinity as they start off conference play 4-0 and improve their season to 8-1 overall. A great performance by so many players, but the star of the show tonight, if you had to pick one, I think it would have to be Natalie Anderson with those 21 points and 20 rebounds.
Absolutely. You cannot understate the impact that Natalie Anderson had on this game. Of course, looking at her now walking off on the sideline after that injury, has got an ice bag on the knee. Hopefully that doesn't end up affecting her too much through the next few days whenever they go on that tournament run, but still a fantastic day from her. Typically whenever you get a double-double, it's you know, points, of course, maybe being in the 10s or 20s, but like assists or rebounds or any other category that you could get a double in being just over 10. She broke 20 on both of them. She had an absolutely dominant day down low, and the Crusaders just couldn't do anything about it.
Leading the Crusaders in terms of points, Maria DeCenta with 13, Sophie Geisler with 13, but the Tigers just firing on all cylinders, and a little double-double for Maria DeCenta as well for UD, 13 points and 10 rebounds. So UD played their hearts out, but could not come up with a statement win against the Tigers. For Trinity, as Caleb said earlier, they are on the road for a little bit. They're going to go up to Tacoma, and they will play Willamette on December 19th, and then they'll play at the host institution, Puget Sound, on December 20th. Then the next week, they're off to the D3 Hoops Classic in Las Vegas. They play Ohio Northern and Framingham State. Ohio Northern, that being a December 28th game. Framingham State, December 29th game. Both very intriguing games as both of those teams constantly in contention for regional rankings. And they'll be back here January 2nd against the Mountaineers of Schreiner. That'll be another conference game, and I'm sure a nice home stint after a long road trip. And meanwhile, for UD, after this tough loss here at Trinity, they're going to go on the road as well. They'll be off at Hendricks on December 20th, and then 2 road SCAC games, one at Southwestern and another at TLU. So some tough road trips. They'll be back up in Irving on January 6th to play Austin College. So Crusaders fans, make sure to show out for the Crew. They're a great team, and you should be supporting them whenever you can. Meanwhile, for everyone in the control room, Caleb Reed, and the Tiger Network as a whole, I am Reed Rosales. Thank you for joining us, and have a good night.